Welcome to Namaste today, a delightful way to begin your day. I'm your Heartfelt host and Sensei to Serious Joy, Christopher Witecki. This audio blogcast is for Tuesday, April 4th, 2017. Welcome back, my friend and earthly neighbor. Namaste. As of today, we are halfway through the Aries transit, and we have 2 weeks more to go with Venus in retrograde. In today's Zodiac weather, I'll talk you over the hump and tell you where planets are pointing. And later, in our tea time, since step 15 rules a day, I thought it was time to talk about our heartfelt voice. But first, let's take a look at today's moods and your Zodiac weather. This Zodiac weather is for Tuesday, April 4th, 2017. Looking at our global mood forecast, it looks like sunny and calm for planet Earth. In fact, super calm. The sun is at step 15 Aries promoting peace, and the moon breaks out of a grand square headed for Leo. Let's take a look at the planets. Well, my friend, we're at step 15 Aries today. Aries is the I act, I am energy. It's our inner knight in shining armor, and that's what we have been trying to develop all month long. The good news is at step 15, we will be over the hump today and towards the promised land of a new medum. Okay, medum meaning freedom to be me, to be ourself. So really, we're trying to bring our core self out. That's the deep motive. Well, today, step 15 means it's time to listen to our heart and listen to what our heart is telling us. Up until now, the sun in Aries is very much about strength and persevering and breaking through. Now it's time to actually focus on the smooth ride. And in the last 24 hours, the moon was caught up in a grand square. In simple terms, that means nothing moved anywhere. And today, emotionally, we begin with that calm pond and gently add on energy as we go. So if you do this right and you nurture yourself, today can turn into awesome bliss. Now let's talk about that moon. The moon begins in the early step 20s of Cancer today, and that means you should wake up feeling pretty good, but there's a tendency to worry about our future when the moon hits those upper degrees. On top of that, the moon will be trining Venus retrograde in Pisces now, and that means emotions are absolutely picking up on deep spiritual truths. In fact, if you wake up from weird dreams or in a certain funk, it could literally be that deep spiritual truths are coming to the surface, and this is for you to understand where to go and where to grow next. So the start of the day emotionally may need a bit of pampering. It's almost like a hazy gray start off of the day, but that haze burns off later in the day when the moon moves into Leo, which is our heart and where our heart wants to be. So in simple terms, listen to your feelings, give them what they want, and nurture. Now, speaking of nurturing, as I mentioned, Venus is retrograding in Pisces now and will through the course of the week up until Venus going direct, which will happen on April 15th. Until then, as Venus is in Pisces, you're going to be unveiling old spiritual truths about yourself, and also as Venus conjuncts Chiron, you'll be healing your old spiritual story. What does this mean in simple terms? It means in simple terms that you might have limited what you thought you could do on Earth. You might have limited it simply because in your old spiritual story, you tried it once and got hurt, and so you've been holding yourself back ever since. And so a lot of us are removing our own spiritual caps, removing our own spiritual limitations, so we can create and come forth with this new character, which is the sun in Aries, I act, I am. Now, I will also remind you, since this is our first audio blog of the week, Saturn is conjuncting the galactic center. Saturn will go retrograde in the month of April as well, but we are still being called to the story we were born to live. And part of this story is who we are and what we do. So have patience, my friend. It looks like a lot is going to be unfolded, but the good news is at step 15, you are out of the muck. Now, through the week, you're going to be going back and forth to kind of, let's say, polish this new character, these new actions, and you're looking for a sweet spot, and you're looking for what's fair. That's all based on the sun opposing Jupiter. So I'm not saying it's going to be super clear, but you are out of the harsh stuff. Last point I'll make before tea time deals with Mars. Mars is at step 18 Taurus today, and that means it's time to decide and act on the things that you want to manifest. And although you're questioning your character and questioning your motives and questioning your spiritual direction, right, all these big questions, what's probably not in question is some sort of project or manifestation in front of you. Whatever is in current production and moving ahead, the universe says go forward with it. In fact, Mars is trining Pluto in a very favorable trine right now, and that means that a lot of powerful change and assistance and protection is coming with your production. So move forward with what you do know, and don't worry about what you may not know as of yet. Now, that said, I do have some simple advice for you today when it comes to listening to yourself. So go steep yourself some tea, and let's have our daily tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is a heartfelt voice. And this comes from the fact that step 15 rules the day. Step 15 is I love and I think. But what people don't know is step 15 is an instruction for what we're supposed to think about. We're supposed to think about what we love. What we love and what our heart is telling us is our heartfelt voice. And now that people are creating a new character, and now that people are ascending to a higher spiritual vision of themselves, the highest spiritual vision is to live by your heart. Now, living by your heart is much easier said than it is done. But I will tell you this. Since you are building a new character, you're building new behavior, this is a time where if you develop a new behavior, it will stick. It will stick probably for about 9 years until the next time Venus is retrograde. And there are practical steps to listening to the heart. Let me tell you what I tell all my clients in personal readings. First of all, to listen to the heart, you have to understand the 11 steps to serious joy. Remember, it is through emotion that our heart connects to the rest of us, and it's through emotion that the rest of us connects to our heart. So to have a heartfelt voice that is constantly in your life, you need to always be in touch with how you feel. How you feel about everything, frankly. How you feel about this moment, how you feel about the next moment, how you feel about the possibility of this, and how you feel about the possibility of that. Now, the reason why you have to be in touch with your feelings is because these feelings have to be clear of negative thoughts or worry or stress or whatever for you to get a real clear feel of what your heart is trying to tell you. So step one, or the first thing you have to do, I should say, is to clear your emotions, nurture yourself, and connect to your feelings as much as you can. Just ask yourself how you feel. In fact, if you're going to ask yourself a particular task list item like, should I go to the store or not, your mind will come up with many reasons to go to the store. We need this, we need that, that sort of thing. But you might take the second step of asking your feelings. How do you feel about going to the store? How do you feel if you waited? How do you feel if you went at 10 o'clock tonight? So ask your feelings for their opinion too. What starts to happen as soon as you ask your feelings, remember one step connects to the next, your heart's opinion will come forward. So I always say the next voice you should ask past your feelings is your heart. Does your heart want to go to the store? Does your heart have anything in going to the store? Will your heart be gratified? Is there any joy there for your heart? This is the beginning of having a conversation with our heartfelt voice. And the more you get to asking your feelings and your heart about things, the more you are led to the path you are destined to live. Everything in the universe is actually based on the heart. In fact, it is my belief that heaven and all the higher energies actually are listening to our hearts, not our thoughts, not even our emotions. Certainly they can feel us, but when they want to communicate to us, they go straight to our heart. Therefore, the more in touch you are with your own heartfelt voice, that is the voice that your heart is saying and what your heart is telling you, the more you're in connection with your higher guides, the angels, and all the higher realms. So a heartfelt voice is definitely the way you want to go. Now, the trick is to build our heartfelt voice into our behavior. Behavior are actions we're going to take. So what you might practice doing starting today is before you do an action, you ask your heart, is there anything in this action for my heart? Is this a loving action that I'm about to do? Is this a loving reaction I'm about to do? Is this the action that my heart wants to be known for? Now, one of the problems that comes up with heartfelt voice is what the heart is telling us often goes against with other parts of us. What our heart tells us goes against our commitments to people. What our heart tells us goes against our current plans. What our heart goes against what we've been told in life. And so whatever our heart says, often it's not so much listening that's the problem, it's the consequences of what it's telling us. Now, it's my opinion that the most important thing you can do for yourself is to be conscious of your heartfelt voice. Your heart may want something, and you may not be able to give it to your heart right now, but it's very important that you know you want it and that you know you're waiting. This will eventually lead to you getting it, by the way. It's when we ignore our heartfelt voice and never even take the time and space to say, well, this is what my heart wishes it was. That's when we never get out of our certain ruts and we don't have the inspiration to open our life to new joy. I would say that a good practice for you would be to throw everything by your feelings and by your heart for the next 10 days. If you can do that, I believe new doors will open that have not opened to you before. By taking the path of your heartfelt voice, you will in fact find your golden opportunity for your destiny and the story you were born to live. Because I believe everything is based on the heart and all law of attraction is based on the heart. One last piece of advice I'll give you has to do with whatever you have currently manifesting. The universe is saying right now, anything you build from the heart at this time will be like the three little pigs building it out of brick. Things built from the heart now will harvest. The planets are aligned, the North Node is heading towards Leo, the heart, and we have eclipses coming up later this summer, all based on the heart. So the universe is going to be paying on the heart's intentions coming up. Sensei says you really should listen and invest in that heart. All right, my friend. Well, coming from my heart, hear this, that I love you and I'm grateful for you. And I hope you have a heartfelt day. I'll be back tomorrow again to play. Until then, remember I love you and live, love, be.
Live, love, be.